So last night I went to Costco and I was just walking around and I said, "Oh, look at that cooler. Oh my gosh, I bet we need a cooler." And I was about to text my husband and say, "Do we need a cooler?" And then it occurred to me, wait a minute, Robyn. If you have to ask, do we need a blank? Then you know you don't need one. If you need something, you know that you need it. And if you're anything like me, and yes, my house is, I've decided not to clean up before I film anymore, just to be super authentic. Before I buy something, I like to make sure that I need it, and I like to wait a while. In fact, with my kids, I often say, we need a 24-hour cooling off period. And I think that that is just sort of like a great rule of life in general. So let's get into a bunch of things that you don't want to waste your money on. And the first thing is impulse purchases. Now, so often I have wasted so much money buying things that were on sale, or that I thought, oh my gosh, I could use that one day. And I didn't, and I ended up decluttering them. Like, I'm sure it adds up massively. I will tell you though, one caveat, one thing that you probably always should buy when it comes to mind, and that is a bra. Let's face it, you need a new bra, I need a new bra. Our bras are old. Let's get some new bras. Another thing that we should not be wasting our money on, look at my son's mess, is name brand products when an off-brand product will do. Now, this is not always the case, but there are so many times where, like, for example, I always have to take an allergy pill. I have to take a Reactine pretty much every day for my life. And I buy the Costco brand. I'm a big Costco fan here, you guys, because that saves me money. That I can look, but like the actual like chemical name is the same. So buying name brand for things, it doesn't always make sense. Like sometimes it makes sense, but most of the time it doesn't. So that is one way where we can save so much money, is just avoiding the name brand thing. Here's another thing that I have done to save so much money lately, and that is to not buy as much convenience food. Now, I used to buy a lot of convenience food, a lot of prepackaged things, and I'm not saying that there isn't a time and a place for that, because there are times, like first of all, if I'm going away, sometimes, not always, but sometimes I will order HelloFresh for my family because it makes it easy. I am at a stage in my life where things are not crazy out of control. So I have actually been able to do some canning of meals, some freezer meals. So often now we don't need to have a lot of that convenience food in our home. And it's actually really, really nice. It often tastes better, it's healthier, it's fresher in a lot of circumstances. And like I said, like this is just what I have done to save some money and to save clutter. But not having convenience food is so handy. This one might hurt for some people, and if at all possible, avoid buying bottled water. Bottled water, if your water is unclean or unsafe, totally makes sense. But you are spending so much money on water. If the water coming out of your taps is decent, then I would suggest just sort of weaning yourself off of that bottled water. A lot of people, they absolutely love it. For me, part of the reason why I don't like bottled water is a lot of the water is shipped from places that, like, first of all, there's the environmental thing. And I mean, I'm not like a huge like environmental like pushing person, but I am aware that, you know, if we're taking water from like a stream somewhere, we're diverting that water. We are also it's going in trucks, it's taking, you know, like it doesn't always make sense. However, I know there are a lot of places that there are water issues, and I mean, that makes total sense that you would want to. Obviously, you need safe water to drink, but it's also a massive expense. It adds up so much. Not to mention, those bottled water things from Costco, they are really heavy. Here's one that some people may not like, and that is saving money on not buying lottery tickets. Now, I know, I've done it. I've done the lottery ticket game where it was fun to buy some lottery tickets and win a little bit here and there. But I think that for the most part, our odds of winning are very low. And if you're trying to save a little bit of money, perhaps taking a break on that might be worthwhile. Another thing I always heard was that the lotto is the one volunteer tax that we all pay. And I mean, I know where I live. I live in British Columbia in Canada, and the lottery is tied to our government. And there's a lot of tax that goes to that. In the hospital where I used to work, they had a lottery too. And there was one for the staff, and there was one for, I think the one for the staff, it may have like literally may have just been like, I don't know, like what is it called? Where you put the money in and you get all, like you get all the money. Like it doesn't go anywhere else. I think it might have been like that. But there also is like a hospital lottery. So it saves money for our hospital. I think that's great. But just be aware that the chances of winning are low, and if you wanted to, if you were just curious, you could just add up how much you had put into that over the years, or even it might just be fun to just reduce it. And if you were meant to win, then you'll win, and if you aren't, then you won't, but at least you will have spent less money on it. Okay, friends, let's talk craft supplies. Now, I come to this painting for one reason alone, and that is that I painted this painting. And the reason why I painted it is because I was looking for, when I'm doing like a live stream or at my desk or whatever, that I had a nice backdrop to stand in front of, and I wanted sort of like these colors, because I wear a lot of these colors. There wouldn't be a lot of clashing, like you see. See, I just blend right in. Now, I did buy some supplies for this painting because I had looked at local stores. Like here's do you see my s'mores supplies hidden there? Don't tell my family. But I know that when we are buying something, when we are planning on doing a craft, that's great. That's the perfect time to go and buy the supplies. But if you are just walking through Michael's and you are walking through, is it Joann's? I wish we had a Joann's here. But you were just walking through Joann's and you're like, look at this, look at this. This is pretty, because they make the packaging look very appealing for very good reasons, because they want you to buy it. Now, if you don't have an actual plan for it, don't buy it. I think that truly could be a great strategy for everybody, for everything. If you don't have a plan for it, don't buy it. And if you can't afford it, don't buy it.
Don't buy stuff you cannot afford.
So not only are you wasting money, but also it can add up so much in the form of clutter. And y'all know I do not like clutter. I come to you from my getting kind of messy pantry to talk about ingredients that we don't need. Now, I love to cook. Now, some people, they don't love to cook, so maybe you won't be able to relate to this one, but maybe you will. And that is to not buy things, ingredients. My son is washing a peach. To not buy ingredients you don't have a plan for. Do you notice a theme here? So one day I was just like walking through the grocery store and I was like, oh, achiote paste. I probably am butchering how you say that. But anyway, I was like, I saw a recipe for that and I wanted to make it. I should buy that. I bought it. I had no idea what I wanted to make with it. And then it just sat in here for a really long time. So maybe next time you could even just go to your grocery list, if you have one in your phone or wherever. I have one in my phone, and you could just write down the place where you saw the ingredient, and then if you come across it again, like the recipe, then you can say, oh, I know where to get that, and I can go and buy it. I mean, I get it. I am the worst for having an idea of something that I want to do and not doing it. Like, that's why I'm all about planners and lists and everything. But trust me, there's going to be so much money waste and there's going to be so much clutter as a result. Here is another one, and that is late fees. Do not spend your money on late fees when at all possible. And I was really bad at this for a very long time until I started using the budgeting app You Need a Budget, called Wine App, not sponsored. I am starting to talk about it more and more just because it has saved me so much money. In fact, it costs like $120 Canadian a year or something like that. But I know it saves me so much. And part of the reason why it saves me so much is that I'm not spending money on late fees, because if you pay a bill late, quite often, like my cell phone bill, there's other bills where if I pay it late, I get a late fee. Even like our regional district, there's some kind of like month or yearly fee. If I pay it early, I save money. So if at all possible, having some kind of a structured plan to how you pay for things, like even like say you got a parking ticket, pay it right away. Like instantly get out your cell phone, email yourself and put down pay parking ticket so that you can get home, log on and pay that ticket, because that will save you that late fee. And quite often there's like a discount for paying things early. I come to you from my beloved kettle. I love my on-demand kettle. And I bought that online. And the reason I come to you from your kettle is to tell you that you don't want to do impulse buying online either, if at all possible. Now, I do the majority of my non-food shopping online. In fact, some of my food shopping is done online. And it can be really, really hard to not buy things online when we see it and we're like, oh my gosh, that's great. I actually just recently bought some glasses, impulse shopping online, because I was like, oh, I can get like these different like little things that clip on in different colors. You'll see them soon when it arrives. But then I was like, I should not have bought that, because I could have gotten multiple pairs of glasses from way cheaper from a local company instead of paying duty to get it in from the States. But instead, it was an impulse buy. I went against my own rule, which is a 24-hour cooling off period when buying something online. Or buying like anything in town that's like a bigger purchase. But I'm gonna be honest with you, like most of what I buy is online. So when it comes to clothes even, I'm like, I put it in the shopping cart, and then if I'm thinking about it, then I say, maybe I will buy it. I check my budget, see if there's room in there. But that is a great way too, is to just not be impulsively buying things online. But I loved it. I planned for it. It's the best. Let's talk about interest-free financing. Now, this is a Lazy Boy chair, and it takes me back to a chair that I bought 25 years ago when I was a single young little chickie, and I actually bought a Lazy Boy chair. I remember it was $1,500, and I did an interest-free purchase on it with financing. And if I paid it off in 6 months, there was no interest, which I did. But that could come back to bite me if I had not been very careful about paying it, if I did not have like reminders and whatever. And I was not good at budgeting for quite a while. So I'm lucky that did not come back to bite me. But I have young adult kids now, and I am very nervous about that. And I think one of them, he did even buy something, and I was like, oh gosh, like make sure you pay that off. Like, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, sometimes you can just say like, hey, like I'm going to like be very strategic with that, but just beware. So often that comes back to bite people with like huge interest fees and just like financial problems. Ugh. There is some booze up in my house, and that is what I want to talk about, is spending a little bit less, if at all possible, on smoking or alcohol or whatever. Now, for me, I used to smoke. I know, it's hard to believe. Well, I say that just because like so many people are like, what, you did? And I'm like, I did. So yeah, I used to, like, and that was a big waste of money. So don't think I'm judging you if you do smoke, but and you know, like I'm a nurse. I can't help but want everybody to just be as healthy as they possibly can be. So if at all possible, consider quitting. The other thing is alcohol. Alcohol costs a lot of money, so bad for you. So, and it's even funny because I had a beer last week, which was the first one I'd had for months, which was the first one I had had for months before that. And my son was even like, are you drinking poison? And I was like, yeah, technically. And he was like, why? And I'm like, ah. And so the thing is, like, I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. I'm just saying maybe cut back a bit. You're going to save money. You're going to save your health. And you'll even save space on those darn empties. So that is just one way you can save money. But as a nurse, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. Here's one I have really come close to mentioning multiple times during this, and that is holiday sales. Now, I love certain holidays. I love Halloween. I love Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, before Halloween. And I mean, I don't have a problem with the American one. I'm just in Canada, so that's when I celebrate it. And Christmas, oh, I just Love them. And what's great is the stores and the online shops, they're so good at making things look so lovely and so appealing. And I'm just like, oh, I want this, I want that. And I will walk through these places and I will just be like, oh, and I will buy things. I have, and sometimes I still do. Now what I try to do is to just say, hey, that is going to be on sale after said holiday. If I still want to buy it, if I have space for it, it will probably be on sale. I will save money. And quite often, I'm kind of just not as into it later. And I mean, obviously, I would be packing it away for the next time that holiday rolls around. I mean, I will do that. But gosh, I sure do love those holidays. And they're coming soon. I'm trying. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. Oh, that shadow. Okay, here's another one that I used to be so bad at, and that was always upgrading my phone. I didn't necessarily do it every year, but I guess like the plan I usually get, I kind of can upgrade it every 2 years. And I often do. And I'm not really sure why. Why would I upgrade my phone if it works perfectly well? I kind of am over that now. I just am like, like any new things, like the cameras are amazing on these phones now. And it really is just a tool. So many of us, we're trying to use it less. We feel like it's a bit of a ball and chain. So I don't want to be wasting my money on a new phone every time one gets released or every time I can upgrade without a fee, because there's always extra fees. I mean, sometimes you can get a better plan, and that's why, like, it's not like bad to investigate. But for me, I'm just like, ugh. The one thing I have done is, as my kids have sort of like needed a phone in quotation marks, I have upgraded my own phone and given them that, because I don't think a teenager should get like a brand new iPhone or something. But we have one more kid who needs a cell phone, and he is so funny because he doesn't want one. He's turning 15 and he says, I don't want to be one of those people looking at my phone all the time. And I'm like, I can't blame him. But at the same time, it would be convenient to be able to text him and that, but I'm not going to push him. I'm not going to push him. Here is another one a lot of people don't realize. And I think this would probably be applicable to maybe everybody, but especially people, Canadians, and maybe anybody who doesn't live in the States, because so many of us, we buy things from the States. And I know Americans, they buy things out of country too, so this might be one. But that is foreign transaction fees on your MasterCard or whatever. There actually are huge fees that are not huge, but it adds up. It's like a couple %. So we had taken our kids to Disneyland and we were just using our regular MasterCard, and then we realized that we were paying more. There was like, it would cost an extra, I think depending on how much you spend, like an extra like $50 or $100 or something, because of the kind of credit card we were using. So there are a few that you can get that have no foreign transaction fees. I just got a new one. I think it's from Scotiabank. Not sponsored, but just so you know if you're Canadian. But those can really add up. Let's talk in front of my fridge, because we are talking about food waste. Okay, this is one place where we used to waste so much money, and that was on wasted food. And there are two things that I have done that have helped, and please share what you do for all of these things in the comments. But the first one that I did was I started eating a lot more vegetables, using the Glucose Goddess's book. Her name's Jessie Inchaupe. And basically, one of the biggest things we were wasting was vegetables. And now I basically am like, oh no, I'm like running out of vegetables. I got to go to the store. I was not like that before. So I've been doing that for about a year and a half. The other thing I did was meal planning. And we talked about not impulse buying things from the store, which will help with food waste. The other thing is planning. And I use the Plan to Eat app, not sponsored. It is so great though. So great for meal planning. And what you can do is you can even like search in it, like cauliflower, and it will tell you everything that has cauliflower in it, which is so handy. So you save your favorite recipes like via a link or whatever. If you want, like, go ahead and just like write it on the calendar, like do whatever you can to plan your meals. But first of all, like number one, the best thing about meal planning is that it just saves you so much like mental energy, and you save money on not buying takeout, and of course like food waste. So handy. naturally that would bring me to not going to restaurants too much. Now, one thing I love to do is with my husband, I like for him and I to have a date every now and then. We go for lunch as a date, and it's so nice. So I think going to restaurants is great, but trying not to do it too much. And I'm gonna be honest, even with all this like meal plan and talk and all of this stuff I have said, I feel like we still have gotten fast food a little bit more lately, especially like the end of the school year. Everybody's just really tired. But if we can just have a budget for that and we can just try to not do it too much or try to stay within that, that's so handy. It's so handy. And the other thing a lot of people don't realize is their clutter is actually costing them money. The clutter it adds up. It costs you money with taking up your space. It costs you money in so many other ways. Click this video here where I get into that. Stay tidy and mighty. I hope something great happens for you today. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.